Hello and welcome back once again to Movie Reviews. Hopefully you guys can see me a little bit better this time. I'm in a lit parking garage, so I don't have to have the light on the camera. So hopefully my face isn't completely blacked out, and hopefully the camera's not tilted way up this time like it was last time. Last time I forgot to take the screw for my tripod mount off the bottom of the camera, so it rocked back a little bit. Hopefully I'm more in frame this time. Anyway, welcome back to Movie Reviews. Just got out of seeing Amazing Spider-Man 2. I know I said I was going to get around to seeing a lot more movies a couple weeks ago, almost a month ago now. But, of course, my boss started changing my schedule around as usual, so I didn't get around to seeing anything. It took me a while to get the last review up because I had problems with my editing software. Finally got those worked out, well, sort of. But yeah, so I got seeing Amazing Spider-Man 2. Not really a whole lot to say about it. I liked it, but at the same time it was kind of a forgettable film. It's like everything that happened in it was set up to move forward with another plot, which was only set up to move forward with another plot, which was only set up to move forward with another plot, and almost none of them really got resolved. So we start out with, Spider-Man being Spider-Man, of course, but as he's going around, he's seeing Gwen Stacy's father everywhere, kind of reminding him that he had made the promise to keep Gwen out of it. So of course, that starts to weigh on him, so again, he goes and breaks up with Gwen. Then they do this back and forth, we'll get back together, we'll break back up thing. That goes on for a bit. They set up the existence of Electro. Then there's just this really long period of exposition dump, and it's like really story heavy, trying to get to the next point. We get introduced to Harry Osborn, and yeah, it just kind of keeps going from there. Like, eventually, Harry Osborn leads into the release of Electro, who wreaks havoc on the city. As he's wreaking havoc and Spider-Man's trying to stop him, Harry turns into the Goblin. So the whole Electro thing was just to move forward with Harry becoming the Goblin. Harry becoming the Goblin was only set up to really move forward with, obviously setting up for the sequel, and to end the Gwen Stacy storyline, which if you've read the comics, you know how that ends. If not, I'm not going to tell you. So go read the comic and find out. But then that's all set up to introduce the Furious Five in the next film, because throughout Oscorp, they, at one point in the movie, you start to see hints towards what's going to be in the next film. You see Dr. Octopus's tentacle arms. Towards the end, you see Vulture's wings. And then, finally, at the end of the movie, which, the whole movie I was like, I know this guy's supposed to be in here, I just haven't seen him yet, and it was kind of obvious that he was going to show up at the end of segue into the third one, and that's the Rhino. You see his armor in the vault with the other items I mentioned. So yeah, the whole movie was kind of telegraphed. You could kind of tell, like, they were going cookie cutter basics of how to set up a story and move it on to the next point. As soon as, they got to the point where Harry had finally become the Goblin, and it's like, okay, obviously Rhino hasn't shown up yet, so he's going to be the bridge to the next movie at the end. The whole Electro fight kind of ended abruptly. There wasn't really much of a payoff to it, and you could tell that it was only there to have Harry come in as the Goblin. It's like they do all this setup with Spider-Man versus Electro, and then the Electro fight's over, like, basically be like if Spider-Man had just poked him and he fell down and died. It's a little bit more in depth than that, but yeah, it was kind of a cheap end to what they were setting up, and it was only set up to bring in Harry as Goblin and wrap up the Gwen Stacy storyline. So in the next film, we'll probably get introduced to a Mary Jane Watson, who originally was supposed to be introduced in this one, but they scrapped it. So yeah, the Furious 5, I believe is what they're called, will be set up for the next one. Rhino, Doc Octopus, I don't think Vulture was originally in it, I could be wrong, but they had Vulture's wings, and then there'll be 2 others. I don't remember if Electro comes back as part of that or not. It's been a while since I followed Spider-Man. So yeah, although that could introduce Kingpin, because if I remember right, the Furious 5 worked for Kingpin, but Harry Osborn's still around, so, spoiler, he's still around, and he's the one that's kind of setting up the 5, so maybe they'll bypass the Kingpin element and just stick with Oscorp. So yeah, overall, like I said, not a bad movie, you know, if you want to follow with the story and just know what's going on. But it's very cookie cutter, very forgettable. I'm surprised I can remember as much as I remembered about it, and I just walked out of the thing. So, I didn't walk out, I just got out, the thing's over. So yeah, nothing really after the credits. For some reason, like midway through the credits where you would normally get the stinger for the next movie, they just had this weird couple seconds stinger of X-Men Days of Future Past, which didn't really make sense. It didn't tie into Spider-Man at all that I could see. I know they exist in the same universe, but it was really out of place. It's like the credits were rolling, and then it just kind of did that like weird statically like thing where it's like cutting into the transmission. Then you see this quick segment of X-Men, and then it does the static thing, and then back to Spider-Man's credits. And that was it. There was nothing else after the credits or anything like that, so you don't have to stay through it. So yeah, as far as a star rating, ooh, wow. Like I said, it wasn't a bad movie. I don't want to say I wasn't bored watching it, because there were a few points during like the heavy exposition that I was like, come on. You know, this is so telegraphed. I know what's going on in the story. Just move along, get to something, you know, some type of action. And then when they finally got to the action, it was like 1 second done. So, as far as a star rating, I would probably have to go with, I don't want to say 3, because that would be like middle of the road, but, you know, it was kind of middle of the road, but because it was so telegraphed and forgettable, I'm going to have to say like a 2.5, pushing a 3. You know, I really hate to give it such a low rating, because it's a decent film compared to some of the stuff I've seen, but yeah, there wasn't enough to it to really, you know, justify why we need a third one. It's like this whole thing was abridged between 1 and what's going to be 3, and they could have done a lot more with it, I guess. Yeah, not much more to say about it. I'm just kind of rambling here. Yeah, so 2.5. Sorry. On other news, I did find out today that apparently this theater has a special on Tuesdays, every Tuesday, $5 movies all day long. Because I went in, and normally, since I work in the complex, not in the theater, but in the building, I normally get a discount off movie tickets. And when I flashed my badge, she's like, oh, well, we got a special going on today. And I was like, well, what's the special for? He's like, oh, we do it every Tuesday. So normally the matinee price in the morning's like $7.50 or something like that, and I usually get it like for $5.75 or something like that. In the evenings, it's normally like close to $10, and I get it for, I think it's like $9 something, and I end up getting it for like $7.50. But yeah, apparently Tuesday all day long, I would get it for $5, and so does everyone else. So we might start seeing more movie reviews again if I come on Tuesdays, which lately I've been getting off unless someone else has a schedule change. So as long as I keep getting Tuesdays off, I might have to start making that movie night. At least every other Tuesday I will, since one of my paychecks goes towards bills and the other one's kind of my spending money. So maybe the spending money paycheck, Tuesdays will start being movie night unless I have to work. So I might start seeing some more movie reviews. Also, I might start delving into some DVD reviews like I wanted to do originally. just because even though I didn't get to see him in theater, I have picked up a couple DVDs of stuff that has come out recently, like RoboCop and I Frankenstein and a few others that I didn't get to see in theaters. And I still, even though they're out now, I still kind of want to give my review on them because some people said they'd still be interested in hearing what I have to say about them. Just got to figure out how I'm going to format that. I'm not sure how YouTube works, the whole showing movie clip things. I think I read that it has to be like under 10 seconds of the movie clip to be review or parody. So I have to look a little bit more into that and figure out how I'm going to format that to not get it, not get my monetization thing removed on YouTube. So work that out. Got a couple more product placements coming up. And yeah, not sure what else is going to be going on. My roommates both are out of work again, so they never leave the house anymore, so it's kind of hard for me to do any gameplays or, just sit around and do a blog like I've been saying I want to do. Speaking of blogs, I do got a 3-part special coming up. It's going to be based on the whole Throwback Thursday thing that people do, but mine's going to be video formatted, so that's going to be for the next 3 weeks, so look forward to that. Other than that, yeah, I'm just kind of rambling now. So, as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode of Movie Reviews.